is about free press and free media. And I think for some time now, there has been a lot of talk in town about attempt by government to say, we in Century now can wipe here, Yama won't count because that is an answer by now, Nims and Nema wire from beginning till date, Ninya, and they are a babon tia, a shame crime. So they are just trying to control the narrative in any way possible. So Obi or Bernard say, Obeka, asemi begu aban no ho fi bia no, they will just crack you down. And then the bedru baby but they forget say baby bedru the stage we find ourselves in right now no. And yes stage yeah. Na first na traditional media no na ewo upper control. Like I just got na Peace FM, just got na Joy FM, I just got na your friend say GBC, I just got na the so-called traditional media houses and the advances in technology has brought in its wake platforms that you can sit anywhere and then say whatever that you want to say or educate, inform people. And I think the reason why we are here today is unable to control that narrative. Government are resorting to intimidation, manipulation, vicious attack, and all forms of any way we are available just to suppress the flow of information because say they make a look unpopular. And as to whether that is true or not, I think being in this particular country, we've seen a lot the excesses. Among for more Babon become one quite recently. I think hyp0cr made a revelation. I mean, lamented as prior to the 2020 election, she was forced to leave this particular country because of reason Olivier and Nema Enkoye Manana of reason life was in danger. And yeah, I can give you a snapshot of event that I see Chrome her Amam for a firm I didn't see the attitude of power towards finding closure to those things, is that of indifference. They don't care. And you don't even have a situation whereby the president will issue a statement, say anything about it. It's like Yakunipa has a karma in a Yakuno. We just treat it just like that. And then a cop. And sana na yebe one person and a Ghana for you na yediniji ni ayaka ubia ewo awishemu wonimu nas. And we hear political debate in a course. I think that was 2012. Your president, current president, His Excellency Akufo-Addo, made admission say announce principle, your principle harade into Oba. He will use the announce principle. Fast forward, Oba your president, announce conducted an investigation, and I say yes, investigation. Abayinu Frisa Anko Yamano. What happened? He was subjected to all forms of vicious attack in this particular country to the extent say one of the persons on any year Jumano Yakuno besin there yenya closure to that particular case at report aba into the good question is report na awaya mu nyina and yenya international organizations among Babon Temba catcher and said no and nema enkoye. We need to set up as a country because I will have a transition to democracy after your friend says first republic a breaky, second a breaky, third a breaky, near to me secure of this particular fourth republic here. Yenina there and say we'll be able to hold it in place as adibia entimi mumfaso. But consistently one of the critical tools a bit me ensure that particular democracy see being vibrant and a very robust media a bit me put to power on it toes a bit me and build this particular democracy. But it looks as if that is not the situation say in foreign organization like the US State Department recently had a report on the buyer very damning. I'm proud to describe. I think that was 2019 to 2020. I got about a similar report about Bonting. Very damning and very scathing on human rights abuses at Aircourse Kroma. Yanano that way so about the Kahua. But what seems interesting to me and my better have make this particular thing is Samra the US State Department at the report Babontin say Ghana so here public confidence in the judiciary now is shaky. Among for your friends say ahotoso ewo your judiciary dum yati kroma When you walk on the street, that is the conversation you hear. People who are not even inclined to law, that is what they tell you. People who have no idea about what law is, they say onim law, onim common sense, our sense of reasoning. And you know that this person a brony. So people actually about rulings, a free a court or bar, and the fact that the judiciary and fair to people. Yo kroma this answer my can fire home. And then we have an external body, the US State Department at the report ibano. Your reaction towards say you accept is very interesting. I read a report from one of the news portal from one professor. I said friend the professor Kwesi Nim. The justification is oh okay. US for report no more abano. Yen treating no word yen treating as trash. Rubbish. And do you know his reasons? US is guilty as hell when it comes to human rights abuses in the but he could not in any way invalidate those claims, because don't forget say that particular report in the US for no and yet putting assumptions and suppositions on paper. No, they have a complaint unit right here. Your friend is saying Attorney General, and I say yes, department where take complaint from individual who are Ghanaians and move into their report. So if you're a security analyst and you have a contrary information to that, you present the information to be able to attack the integrity of what the State Department of the United States of America is bringing up. And again, say US engage in human rights abuses in as far at the global stage. US is a strategic player. They do a lot of things. Yes, you might not agree with some of the things that they do. Sometimes they go overboard. But the strategic position the United States of America play in the Ghana for na woman, maybe we could have done worse. But that notwithstanding, no, or more clicky and say, baby, we are heading towards a ditch. So it's a wake-up call for us to accept something is wrong and that we need to fix this particular thing. The judicial corruption, the perception, because like I said, the actual corruption in the judiciary is not as dangerous as the perception that the judiciary is corrupt, because perception grow like a wildfire and they inform people and the mama for getting angry. So as a professor, when something of that nature is thrown in your way in your country, I won't in your report, when you accept it, or even if you have your friends saying reservations, there are ways a bit me expressing it just to cushion and as a over caution those in very strategic position to up deep in public confidence. But these are individuals who sit on TV, they just go and then trash everything without providing anything to substantiate it. And that is our attitude. May the baby this particular report here by the media independence and the press freedom index here by your previous position was 30. And then we have doubled up to the stand said now we are 60. That's very interesting. That is very embarrassing. Ordinary, you expect people to accept this with a certain sense of urgency. But till date, power attitude to this particular thing is that of indifferent the same way. Don't forget a man for mufrabonti by investing musika waha. Companies or mobile Ghana hiring, these are the critical indicators that almost who's or minor say do they have fair judiciary? How is the media faring? All these things and they are things they consider before they invest. When they are coming, they will not come and ask Professor Kwesi how the country is faring. No, they will take their report from these agencies here, trash you or my free say or more. They are guilty as hell when it comes to human rights abuses. The United States of America State Department is more credible than even the author here when it comes to CN cancer, because they invest a lot when it comes to say investigation and as a format. So without providing a shred of evidence to substantiate and also to invalidate their claims, they're in a war just to go on radio, because that is what we do. We don't have a critical media. A media just allow anything just to pass through because they come with prefix, doctor, professor. He's scared to question him. He's scared to ask him critical questions. So a lot of them just speak without making sense and they get away with it because the media, the people who are supposed to question them, don't have the balls because they fear the intellectual clout to be able to put those so-called professors and doctors on their feet, those who come and just throw things and then get away with it. No, or need the balls to confront them. So they just say anything, they just spew garbage and then they get away with it. That is the strategy. And so media will not buy and American one. I also read in one of the reporter, a journalist, I'm told he's is it Paul Adumoch or somebody? Yes. The reaction is, oh, share. Na say, in this press freedom report there, na say, Burkina Faso soldier for ne diso. Etimi biti Ghana there, and credible. Entino, free neko. Yankasa yenye media freedom index. That is a hell of a joker. We are here advocating for the media. But in the media are mercenaries who are serving their stomach. They don't care about what is happening within the media landscape. They don't care about the fact that their colleagues are being persecuted, their colleagues are being killed, their colleagues are being hauled from court to court on a daily basis. They don't care. They don't care that their colleagues are being threatened, because in the funyaya manner he doesn't give a damn about that. That is the attitude. So, because as a journalist, I report to you, assuming and that particular index no as a journalist, many journalist, and you accept it, and then you begin to ask yourself, say, you go wrong, what can we do? You ask the critical question to be able to provoke thought, then you'll be able to enter into the hub of power just to get them have the problem solved. But the same journalist is treating the critical issue with unwavering impunity. He's treating it with disdain. Do you think that person will take that particular report serious? Because Nipana as a oil way no man identify no, they're just trashing it away. Because one way or the other, they are feeding from the crumbs beneath the corrupt table. And that is all that they care. It's about Nefraya. He's been able to buy a car, I have house. But see, if you go to politics and your motivation is money, you go and get the money. And when you get the money, you will not care about anything. But say, if you are I show so I care for humanity, love for one another. Say me back for why you rich to the sense that what's it 20 houses or Trasako must see 20 houses, so I own a this me walk car 7 and as a forum now with neighbor next door in needing our da. What is the essence of that money? And people don't feel ashamed. They come on namatofi. You are in a country where about 70 to 80% of the people are poor, living in tattered penury, and you have the guts to boast this awatoka. Come on, can't we build a just society? That is what some of the guys in the media, they are mercenaries. They come mercenary. Their allegiance is to the highest bidder. They are like dog. You can hide them on day of need. Use them to do whatever that you want to do. Then when you are done with them, you just throw them away. That is how some of the guys in the media are turning into. And it's very pathetic, especially there is this culture say some have the naked be actually said they are so special that even better than their colleagues are. So issue no banner say efa obi o tree station ho a they don't care, because you come for a special. That is the inferiority complex, because say utmeka obi kasa na that then makes you special. It means that you are weak mentally. You don't have self-confidence. I did a inferiority complex. That is it. You feel bossy because you can speak English. So they don't care about the others. So that is the attitude within the media. So for us to resolve all these things, and let us not turn a blind eye to the media now, some of the elements in or more burden doing the excesses. I am not against media person in doing partisan politics. No, I'm not against that, because they are human beings. They have their interests and stuff. Because I have told you that if you go to the United States of America, if you look at some of the big stations, or like the CNN, the Fox, all of them were built on political party ideologies and persuasions. So, maybe more tilted towards. We know the Fox News, maybe more allegiance are tilted towards. And then we know where CNN Miankasa station where they tilt towards, and several other Brevet, Washington Post, New York Times, and several other, all of them have their persuasions. But when it comes to say, yeah, Juma, you don't do partisan politics there. Because you are educating masses who are also very intelligent. You can't just sell bullshit to them. You need to speak wisdom. You need to inform them. You need to tell them the truth for them to make their informed decision. You don't make decisions for them because they are reasonable. But here, that is not the case. Even in news, you find journalists trying to give you an opinion instead of news, trying to control everything. So critical issues are fire honor. They just try to, the media decide what is important and what is not. Quite recently, I mean, far away from Abra Sawaboni issue the buy. I have said it when it comes to infidelity and as for I don't pay much attention because there are a lot of people who are guilty as well. But the thing is, there are critical things that was I didn't know myself. I can't near beside who say, Hefa, some more kind of correct, and the end, especially when the name of the president you're dragging into disrepute, media people, your job is try to find answers because that is what happens in the United States when it happened to your friend saying Clinton, and your Clinton the freedom coca said, or no be a media na my investigation. At the end of the day, they got to a point that the whole state senate had no other option than to start investigation to the point at some point the president was held in civil contempt for perjury and he was fined. At a point, your friend is an impeachment process. At the end of the day, now you're clear. No? That is how the media is supposed to be vibrant and robust. Like I said, what we need is a firestorm of eviscerating media, a media hold allegiance to their convictions and no crime be the better and the better. But look at what is happening. So what would issue by the national security I drag you into the sexual adventures of the president, and the fact that there were a lot of questions begging for answers. Obia I am say here. So the good question is say Senka enya kufuado. And I say what boni issue we no. Nanka mahama na asemi kokoto na nka ono na ye pepeni chese onye nipa. You see these media houses taking it over everywhere, and that is another problem that we have in this particular country, even within the media. So yatenase doing this kind of tribal segregation, playing ethnocentric and tribal cards. Obi a ngonani, obi a teni, obi a pepeni, obi a santini, obi a say. So depending on baby and nipanijina, that is where you're criticizing. Into uti na by a kind in nudin sem who they are union makan for and come some. That is the attitude, that is where we are. But I have told you, say, in this modern society, I mean, if you vote for somebody because when they share the same, you be because of tribal and your friends say ethnocentric considerations, you are nothing more than a fool. Because we are saying it is about what the person is offering. And because of this, the media are unable to ask critical questions. Last week, me call Captain Smart show, so now I was telling you about how senseless it is. Say you be your friend is saying your teacher regions account. Yes, your teacher regions is one of the way you develop your mind. But the good question is so who will create regions as when you emphasis will be any so. And that is what we have done. We just created region keke and in creating the region nyansa bia nim to the stand say obi kanchira me say adenti na say voter region yetwetwam any two regions na Ashanti region da ho Eastern region adenti na yentwam because ye koho a otumfo mpenema yentwam but Togwe there on penekra yemfa ho ye bekwa kotwam. These are some of the tribal we are underpinning, and they will tell you, say, I'm going to report by. Listen, so also region largely no and rest on sending part the reporter by and as a when you report my there are critical ingredients you as a nation. That's will take you will take it will consider. One of them, your friend say economic consideration, population, size, and a whole lot. And all these indicators, voter region and Ashanti region. Now, these are questions. I didn't know voter region, no Ashanti region. These are that particular question. tribal, and these are things you expect the critical media to be asking government, asking answer. Maybe government may have a genuine answers to some of these questions, but nobody on his right senses is asking any of these questions. And nobody is making difference. We are speaking for people because they will pay us, because they will give us money. We know we are saying that it's gonna be more by why do we always mention Nkrumah? Nkrumah wasn't a billionaire. According to a grandma, maybe in if you crack or time. But Nkrumah is living in the height and in the minds of people because of the legacy he left behind. So if you're a sensible person and you rise to leadership position, instead of you to buy a land at Islegon, buy a land on the minds of your people and they will forever worship you. That is what you do. Instead of buying cars, buy that car in the minds and on the consciousness of the people. Buy it here and they will forever remember you. That is what Nkrumah did. Even though he never bought a mansion, he doesn't own a dam, but he's still here, living on the minds every day. He's featured all over in our conversation. We don't have sensible people who are ready to ask all these critical questions within the media. So in as much as me side, because I think the media itself is a problem. The media itself is a problem. And until they see the need to fix themselves and realize they are serving a society I want to bet me and boy and put this particular country on their toes, we would never move forward. Because if your job as a media person, you're supposed to guard government against excesses. Sebaya and go into the detriment of the people. But it is the other way around. We have a media that are like dogs, guarding power against the people. And then the media and your friends they are friends dining and whining with power. If you go to Hell's Kitchen, you'll find them there whining and dining with power. They've left us to our fate. They don't care because it's about the crumbs they feed beneath the table. Matoka, Masifi, Mayese is all that matters. And when they get the money, hospital ya reho. So ubuni pafaso. And that's why I'm fakwan papa so na God will find a way. So you